Genius Brain listeners, this podcast is brought to you by Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile, my friends, is so freaking awesome. Probably the best wireless plan that you could have for just $15 a month. Friends, don't let friends overpay for wireless, my friends. So say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans and switch to Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you. All plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/genius15. That's mintmobile.com/genius15. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/genius15. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigs on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. Genius Brain listeners, this podcast is brought to you by Fume. You know, sometimes when you're out with your friends and you're doing so well kicking your bad habit, but sometimes you just reach out for the thing that you shouldn't reach out for, and that's where Fume comes in. Because what if I was to tell you there's a better way to kick your bad habit in an enjoyable way with something you could take out with you? Fume is an award-winning flavored air device. Flavored air isn't like vaping. If vapor was compared to like sticky soda, Fume cores are probably closer to herbal teas. They have a lot of delicious flavors like crisp mint and orange vanilla. Both of those are my current favorite. Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you can be the next success story. For a limited time, use my code GENIUS to get a free gift with your journey pack. Head to tryfume.com. That's tryfum.com and use code GENIUS or scan the QR code on screen to get a free gift with your order today. Genius Brain listeners, this podcast is brought to you by Kickoff. Credit is king, my friend. If you're trying to build your credit, you can do it with Kickoff. They are the #1 credit building app out there for a reason. So join over 1 million people building credit with a Kickoff credit account today. Get your first month for $1. That's 80% off the normal price when you go to getkickoff.com/genius today. That's kickoff without the C. Get KIKOFF.com/genius. Must sign up via getkickoff.com/genius to activate offer. Offer applies to new Kickoff customers for first month only. Subject to approval. Average impact of 30-point increase in first month based on Equifax Vantage Score 3.0 changes for Kickoff premium customers with starting credit below 600 who made the first on-time payment between January 2021 and March 2024. Payment and credit activity outside Kickoff can have an impact on your credit. Terms and conditions may apply. Offer subject to change. Individual results may vary.
And then more news comes out, and then there's other just people constantly saying she's not trans.
Which is fucking hilarious, by the way.
She's just a woman with elevated testosterone.
Some woman just woke up one day. People are like, what's up, dude?
I think they're one of the clear examples of
in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Genius Brain podcast. We are back in the studio today. We got Ed Park, VP, back in the house.
What's up, guys?
It's been a while. I've only been doing solo podcasts. It's been kind of rough. Okay, talking to myself is very difficult. But we are here today. Ed is back from Seattle. We almost met each other in Seattle on the hottest day ever.
You gotta answer for your crimes.
That shit. We were in Seattle for a shoot for a day, and it was so fucking hot, dude.
Yeah.
Nobody warned me at all because I picture Seattle as the best place to be during summer.
Yeah.
And then I went there, and dog, it was like it was LA. It was fucking hot.
It was ridiculously hot. I was there at the same time, too, and I was like, what the fuck, Washington? Like, I thought it was hotter than LA. To be honest,
I got sunburned like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like I got my whole face burnt off. It was so bad. Well, since we've been gone, there are a few topics that people want us to talk about. Obviously, it's a little late, and I feel like the world is just going to shit. I do want to talk about this. Did you see the Olympic opening?
I've just been seeing all the ruckus about it. Mm-hmm. Specifically, this LGBTQ Last Supper art mural, not a mural, but like live mural, I guess.
Yeah.
And then people clarifying it's not the Last Supper, it's this other like fucking medieval painting, all this shit. And then that's where you're just reading, we're like, dude, I think people just don't like looking at gay people. And they want to politicize. Look what the gays did to the Olympics.
I think what happened to, though, I guess like the thing that would be against is people who are on set doing the whole thing. That person who was supposed to be Jesus was saying that they were Jesus. So that kind of threw that out the window because they're trying to, it seems now they're trying to cover their tracks.
I mean, could it have been just one of those moments when, you know, a gay person is feeling themselves and they're like, yes, look at me, I'm like Jesus or something.
Maybe.
But not the actual piece being about Jesus. And even if it is, like, why, I need to understand why they care so bad.
Well, I think the idea behind it is, right, for me, I actually didn't know that it was an homage to The Last Supper. I just thought it was just the shittiest costume design I've ever seen in my life.
What is going on?
I thought it was just really one of the shittiest openers for the Olympics ever. Like, it just was looked bad. Like, the camera too constantly had water in it, so you couldn't see shit.
It was raining like crazy, right? It was pouring. That sucks for them.
And so the lens was just covered in fucking raindrops.
Yeah.
And then we were doing the MMA podcast. Apparently, one guy's ball sack fell out of his shirt.
Yes, I saw that too. And it was fucked up because he was standing next to a little fucking kid.
Exactly. This was fucking whole sack.
Oh my God.
It's literally his whole sack is out.
Yeah.
He couldn't feel the breeze on it. He couldn't feel a little fucking raindrop on it. His whole ball sack was out.
You had to have felt that.
Like, this is, but this is kind of where it just, obviously there seems to be like this intersection between when they see trans performance and then over sexuality, right?
Yeah.
And I think,
But it's fucking France. Aren't they known for that shit?
but it's also the Olympics.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and like you said too,
But they're showing off their culture.
that's not their culture, though. Fucking head, that's not their culture.
They're not gay?
It's like, we are gay. So I guess like when I saw it, I just was like, this is like one of the most jankiest performances I've ever seen. It was just so janky.
It was upfront known like this is going to be the most cost-effective like of the modern century Olympics. Paris is actually trying to make a profit because apparently for the last 20 years, nobody's made a profit off the Olympics.
Which, by the way, I find that really hard to believe.
Yeah.
Like, I actually don't believe that at all. I think, I think that's complete bullshit.
The executives of the IOC, right, the International Olympic Committee, whoever these people are, who probably aren't even athletes, they put the Olympics together. You know, they sell millions in tickets and billions in TV rights all across the globe, but none of the athletes get paid.
Well, this one,
the government gives them a bonus for winning.
It's not a money issue, right? It's just how it's delegated.
Yeah.
So it's like this whole shit. It sucks because all I think about is what the Olympics were like as a kid when I used to watch it, right? And so I get excited to see the Olympic opening. I don't care much about the Olympics anymore. But so when I saw it, I was like, oh, the opening should be dope because Paris and France is supposed to be like the epicenter of culture, food, art, and shit, right? And then you have fucking naked blue man up there. And I'm like, your makeup looks terrible. Like, what the fuck happened here? Like, even if they were trying to save money, this is not where you save money.
Yeah.
This is not where you save money. It just made, like, first, it just made Paris and France look like shit. And I'm like, I expected something cool because China did a dope-ass job. They did some crazy shit.
Yeah, they went all out.
So I thought Paris was going to do some dope shit. And they had, like, this Assassin's Creed thing going on. And it was so bad, dude.
Right.
It was the worst costume design ever. And this is what they're supposed to be good at. So I just thought, you know, we're not going to talk about the religious thing because I didn't see that part.
Yeah.
I just saw a bunch of uggos and a bunch of terrible, whoever did the costume design, whoever did the art direction should never fucking work in any industry ever again. You did such a bad fucking job. You suck at your fucking job. You're trash.
What is the deal with, okay, this might sound fucked up. You know, we're not the best looking human beings out there either, right? But like, why is it so woke to put ugly people on camera?
I don't know.
Right?
It's the inclusive thing. I don't know.
Okay, so there's this whole thing going on with, like, you think it's just stinky incels complaining, right? Mm-hmm. Complaining about, like, all these female video game characters are ugly, right? And for me, because, you know, we grew up with, like, PlayStation graphics, it's like, everybo's ugly.
Yeah.
And then, no, like, by character design, because the graphics are so great now, right? So I finally started trying to play video games here and there, right? And I played one of the dopest games I've ever played. It's called Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay.
Fucking awesome, right? But it's made by an American company. And it's it's all about like samurai, ninja, and the shogun and all of that. Like, and you know, as I play through it, I'm like, everybody's fucking ugly in this video game, right? And then when you play like a video game from Asia depicting Asian people, they're like super gorgeous, like exaggerated or whatever, right? Maybe that's the way we're conditioned, but it's like, you didn't have to make us ugly.
Yeah.
You know? If you're an American developer making a video game about Asians, like, try not to make us look hideous.
But you know, if you ever notice this too, and a lot of people will say this, like during the like 90s, I would say like no, maybe like in the 80s is when it started, like this huge like fashion wave happened. If you notice, all these like high level supermodels that were Asian were the gookiest looking motherfuckers.
Right.
It's like you couldn't find Asian people like this in Asia ever. It's like, where did you find this person who looks like a racist drawing of a Korean person? Yeah. Like, where the fuck did you find this girl at? Yeah. And they're like, this is Asian beauty. I'm like, I've never met an Asian person that looked like this ever.
Yeah.
Like, this is the most ridiculous version. Like, where did you find this person? I'm not knocking them. They're beautiful in their own right. But this is, like, if you asked an Asian person if they saw that, they're like, I've never seen a person look like that before.
Yeah.
It's like the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, if you see like another ethnicity's model, whatever, like you could probably see them walking around like that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I could probably saw something like that. Very beautiful. But then every time you saw like it's like, listen, just the gookiest looking eyes I've ever seen in my life. Like if I tape my own eyes back, which are already small enough as it is, and it was like this, it's like, where did you find this girl?
I feel like it's because in America, because it's a melting pot, you know, we see so many different types of what they'll say beauty is.
Yeah.
Right? Eye of the beholder. And we're from, you know, homogenous countries like Korea or China, Japan, or Indonesia, whatever Asian country, right? They all have this is what beauty looks like. Remember that GIF that went around of Miss Korea? And their faces all look the same.
Yeah.
Where it was just like snapshots of them.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like they think like there's not they think, but there's a diversity amongst Asians, and like, see this is beauty too. Yeah. And then you're like, you know, but even the good-looking ones don't get enough screen time, you know?
I don't understand why they would do that in a game, because a game is not supposed to reflect real life anyways. Right? You're just supposed to be like this fantasy world, which is kind of an odd thing to do. I guess they want representation there too.
So there's a Japanese game that's almost like the same platform called Rise of Ronin, and they look super beautiful and K-popped out. Like one of the hottest games this year is a Korean game for PS5. I forget what it's called, Project Eden or some shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but then they're like, look, this is what like women should look like, because she's got a fat ass and like she's super beautiful. Yeah, but you're like, and then you look at, you know, American RPGs and all the women are like buck ugly.
But like
stuff.
It's kind of gone through this phase too, where, you know, probably it'll stop. But there was just like, remember, I think during pandemic, all these TV shows that were coming out or were going to come out, it was just this type of representation that was so in your face, it looked so stupid. It was just like, if there was a group of friends in like the Midwest where there's like no cultural diversity, you would somehow have a group of people that was like 4 Asians, 3 black kids, 2 Indians. It's like,
right.
Like it's not realistic. If you're trying to make things realistic, this isn't realistic, right? And it's okay for it not to be. There's spaces for that to be possible. Like I remember when that show Bridgerton was huge, right? And it's like, why is there Asian people here? That's like the first thing that I thought. I was like, the fuck? The fuck is going on?
I don't get that. Like, just to say, well, it's just a story or whatever, you know? But then, you know, if there was like a traditional, you know, classic Korean story, and then there was like black and Latino people in there, I'd be like, what the fuck? And be like, oh, you're a racist. Okay, if there was a white person there, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
If there was an Indonesian person out there, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, 100%.
Right? Yeah, so like Jane Austen stuff, it's like clearly a specific time with a specific people in a specific place.
hello, my lord.
Yeah.
Ni hao. like the fuck is this? I just thought it was really weird, right? And then if you say that visually or historically that wouldn't even make sense, somehow you come off as a bigot. And because they always use that thing, it's like, why do you care? It's like, why shouldn't I care? It's fucking weird. It's odd. It's ruining the show for me. Or not ruining the show, but it's just, it's distracting, right?
Yeah.
Because we have a certain set of reality that's based in the real world. And that's what we're trying to see here, right? Now, if this was like a fiction thing, like Lord of the Rings, who the fuck cares?
Right.
Lord of the Rings, doesn't matter. There's goblins, for crying out loud.
Right.
Even like the Little Mermaid thing, right, that happened. Who cares? It's not real. I really don't care. I understand why people are like, okay, I grew up with this. It's supposed to be this Nordic story, whatever. It came from a cartoon. I don't fucking care.
Yeah. Yeah, so is it an Olympic committee or isn't it the host, like town, getting their best entertainers out there?
Yeah, I guess if that's the best they got. Fucking France sucks, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are. Maybe it's because of the. Not even if this isn't the case. Maybe it's because they kind of put themselves in this position of we are culture, we are art.
Right.
Right. So you set your audience up to see something amazing. So it's like, and also too, when you talk about trans and drag queen stuff, dude, it's like a whole ordeal, right? They fucking set that shit up fucking nice.
Yeah.
Instead, it just looks fucking stupid.
So that's the curious thing. So if was this a political statement across, or was it like a piece of art, like them presenting that?
I just don't know what the fuck that was.
Yeah.
I think like because when I was thinking about it too, I was like, are they being rebellious? Are they trying to say like, I don't know, like we're going to throw our political agenda in here as well? I don't even know if that's the case. And I'm not even thinking that far. Right. All I'm thinking is like, fire everybody. It's just so bad. Redo the whole thing. Like that weird naked blue man with the cranberries in his head. That shit.
So, yeah.
It's a thing of nightmares.
Sometimes I feel like these producers are like, oh, this is going to upset people.
Yeah.
And they'll do it just for the sake of that.
Yeah.
Right?
He was supposed to represent Earth or something.
Okay.
Or something like that, which I didn't understand either. Like why I don't get it.
It's France. I don't know.
I don't understand any of that shit, dude.
Yeah.
And now we're like seeing some interesting things too. Like, dude, one of my favorite things that I saw was like a meme going on. Korea won the
the shooting thing.
Where the fuck that's called?
I don't know what the sport is.
It's
like air gun.
Yeah, pistol shooting.
Yeah,
contest.
pistol shooting.
Pistol shooting Olympics. This girl was decked out with the optical. She looked like a fucking villain, dude.
Yeah, she looked like an anime character.
Yeah, and the way that she set everything up after
her pose, her stance, the way she looks at people.
Yeah, she's killed a few people in her life 100%, dude. That girl scared the shit out of me. And then you see the guy that was second place. He looks like he just woke up.
The Turkish guy?
Yeah. He had nothing. He just had a polo and his glasses.
Yeah.
And he hands in his pocket.
He had like sweats on. Yeah.
I was like, this is not. I thought it was a fucking AI generated meme. Like they're like making fun of women or something. That guy was real.
Yeah.
I thought that was fucking hilarious. Which makes me think, what happens if this guy fucking tried? Like, come on, man. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's just that good. I don't think so. That they have an eye patch that covers that eye, and then they have this thing, this other circular thing, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that more? It's just an iris thing, right? So that they can focus on it.
I think so. Yeah.
It's not like a lens so that it zooms in.
No.
Yeah.
I think that would not be.
It probably wouldn't be
against
fair.
the rule.
Yeah.
But just seeing like the contrast between somebody who just put she had a whole personality with it.
Yeah.
You could tell when somebody does that type of stuff, that's not just them. That's stuff they've practiced.
Yeah.
Like they want people to know that they're serious or they're like a certain pose. Like it's almost like performative.
Right.
I'm not knocking on it. I'm just saying like this person has done this multiple times. And then you see fucking Grandpa Turkish man, just this guy who just had a cigarette outside and he just goes, bap! Got it, second place. I thought that shit was fucking hilarious, dude. That doesn't even seem real.
So that's the craziest thing, because people train 4 years. I mean, there's other events, I'm sure, but then their main goal is the Olympics for literally like just a few seconds of their moment, like in life. which is insane.
Well, it goes back into like the corruption of the money thing when it comes to Olympics, right? And I think before too, a lot of people just don't know about the stuff because the information wasn't there.
Yeah.
Right. But when people kept saying like the Olympics isn't profitable, I'm like, in what case is this not profitable? Because why would any country do something that doesn't benefit them at all?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Genius Brain listeners, this podcast is brought to you by Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile, my friends, is so freaking awesome. Probably the best wireless plan that you could have for just $15 a month. Friends, don't let friends overpay for wireless, my friends. So say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans and switch to Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you. All plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/genius15. That's mintmobile.com/genius15. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/genius15. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigs on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. Genius Brain listeners, this podcast is brought to you by Fume. Flavored air, my friends, is becoming the leading alternative to vaping and smoking. It's a whole new movement towards better habits led by the sponsor of today's video, Fume. You know, sometimes when you're out with your friends and you're doing so well kicking your bad habit, but, you know, circumstances lead you to fall back on the thing that you're trying to quit. But what if I was to tell you there's a better alternative that helps you kick your bad habit in an enjoyable way? Something you can take out with you, and that is your Fume. It's an award-winning flavored air device and has cores that are like closer to herbal teas, and I personally like the crisp mint. And with flavored air, you can satisfy that oral fixation through a passive diffusion system that utilizes no electronics, vapor, or combustion. Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you can be the next success story. For a limited time, use my code GENIUS to get a free gift with your journey pack. Head to tryfume.com. That's tryfum.com and use code GENIUS or scan the QR code on screen to get a free gift with your order today.
So, you read into a few things, you see and they're getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
It's not 100,000, 200,000, not even a mil, hundreds of millions of dollars into these guys' pockets.
Right.
And these Olympics athletes have to get sponsored to get money, which is fucking crazy, right? And you had this conversation early on, especially with people who are boxers. America has amazing boxers that don't go into the Olympics because there's no fucking money.
Right.
So they rather go pro. So the moment that you go pro, you can't box in the Olympics.
Yeah.
So they're like, fuck the Olympics. I could be a champion. I could beat all these people. But not going to. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to make some fucking money because Olympians don't make money like that.
Right. So that's why, like, being on the Team USA, like the basketball team, being the elites of this nation and the entire world, right, who normally have $40 million contracts, they're literally playing those summer games for free.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting, too. Like, when I watch...
So it's a huge sacrifice for those pro athletes.
Yeah, 100%.
Join Team USA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like when you watch all this stuff go down, like when I see that part of the Olympics, it makes me just not like it as much, right? Because like I said, I used to be hyped about that shit, dude. I used to be super hyped to watch the Olympics. Every fucking sport that went on, I was watching everything.
Yeah.
Even then, I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
All right.
But then now it's like, you kind of see like these weird theatrics about it. It's pretty stupid. And you said too, like with the boxing thing, apparently both of them are women.
Right. That's the other thing. Like, people are up in arms about... I first heard, trans women are boxing. So biological males are boxing women, right? And when I hear that, then I'm like... And I don't care. I feel like, I'm checked out of these Olympics.
Yeah.
I don't care, right? And then more news comes out, and then there's other just people constantly saying she's not trans.
Which is fucking hilarious, by the way.
She's just a woman with elevated testosterone.
Some woman just woke up one day. People are like, what's up, dude?
I think they're one of the clear examples of gender spectrum, like physically, because they're women, but they have higher testosterone than most women. They do look masculine, right? But their gender is woman, like their bits and everything.
I wonder We got to find out the truth about that shit because that's pretty fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Lady who's out there just boxing her ass off. And everybody thought that she had a dick. It's like, dude, come on, man.
This happened before in another Olympics, I remember.
Well, there was issues with
This runner.
there was, I think this becomes a problem because there was that, it was in, I think it was a clean and jerk. It was like powerlifting.
Right.
And there was a person who couldn't qualify, obviously, for the men's, changed their gender, and then went into the women's, and then broke a world record.
My goodness.
And there was like clips of like other athletes. I forgot. There was like a Samoan girl. I think she was from Australia. She was like pissed. She goes, "I've worked my whole life for this, and I get replaced with this person."
Right. This guy gets a spot on the team.
Yeah. And straight up beats a world record.
Yeah.
For women's.
Yeah.
And this person who was a male couldn't even get to like the 100th place in the males. So you come over here and you take this medal from these biological women, which is like the argument behind that is kind of interesting, right? Because it's not to be incredulous, it's I just don't care. You know what I mean? There's like so many other things for me to care about and worry about. This is something that I just really don't know about or care about right now.
I think you can agree there are men out there with elevated amounts of, what's the women's
Estrogen,
right?
Yeah.
Right? That happens in men. We can all agree. Well, it happens in women. Yeah. Where they get elevated amounts of testosterone. Apparently, these two athletes before got in trouble with some other fighting league, boxing league, because they failed a testosterone test. But they have God-given amount of testosterone, you could say, that helps them compete at a higher level.
That could also be steroids, though. So
yeah,
a lot of these, like, I'm not an expert in this, but I know a lot of people who do use steroids, and a lot of athletes have a way to figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
To be able to cycle on and cycle out. They have a list of banned substances that you can't be having in your body, but they figure out a way to do this. And so that could also be something.
So these women then have been abusing steroids so much that they developed a square chin, but they've been off of it long enough to get into the Olympics.
It's not even that. It's like you can cycle as you're using it,
right,
as you're going in. That's the same thing for UFC fighters, any of this stuff. There's a way to cycle in and out. Basketball players, all this other shit. It's not as clean cut as people think it is. Like USADA always has to play, or like these steroid companies always have to play a catch-up game because they have to figure out the way that they're finding loopholes with this all the fucking time. So they'll find a new drug or a new substance. They go, okay, because of this is a trigger for this, which means that most likely they use this.
Right.
And so they're figuring out loopholes with this all the time. I'm not saying it's these athletes personally, but there was a huge Olympic scandal too with Russia.
Oh, right? Yeah.
All of them were juiced.
Yeah.
And they found a little loophole around it. So there's always these things that happen. So I'm not saying that that's the case for them, but it could be. Who knows?
Right.
It's just a theory of mine.
Did you hear that there's going to be like an athletics program that's like for steroids, legal steroids, and compete?
For what sport?
Every sport.
Like fighting too?
I don't know about fighting.
Oh my God.
But they're like, they want to do track and field first, like all the Olympiad type of games, right?
I'll tell you this.
But they like, get on steroids. And then they'll probably expand more sports.
I'll tell you this. If it's not a sport where you're punching somebody in the fucking face, use it.
Use it.
All of it. I want all of you to use it. You have any idea how many women will be doing 360 dunks in basketball? Yeah. Like, these girls will be fucking smashing on people, dude. Yeah. If it's not a fighting sport, I say let them,
I miss the steroid era of baseball. I'm sure a lot of people do. That's when they were watching.
Shout out to Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
I never watched baseball, but I'd like to watch that big-headed motherfucker fucking crack the fucking ball.
Yeah. And so it's like, it's like such an unfair advantage. Well, then if everyone's on steroids, then it's not, an advantage, right?
Yeah, I don't really mind it in, like I said, in non-violent sports.
Right.
Right? Because it's like, dude, this guy took steroids. You know what he did? He fucking jumped higher, dude.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds great to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when I hear that, I'm like, okay. But then when you hear this guy on steroids fucking punched the shit out of this guy and knocked him out, then you're like, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, shouldn't have been doing that.
I obviously have clearly never taken steroids, right? But if I become randomly buff out of nowhere, I hope you guys know I took steroids.
Yeah.
Because there's no fucking way I'm getting buff without those things.
So many men just get on TRT after 40.
Dude,
you just start saying like, oh, now you're losing your hair? Like,
bro, I saw somebody who took TRT recently, right?
Yeah.
Fucking lost a shit ton of weight.
Right.
I think it's because it gives him the energy. Well, he's like almost 50 now.
Right.
So it gives him the energy that he used to have. So he's like pushing all these weights. And I guess like the biggest thing too is like it helps with like recovery, which seems to be like the biggest benefit of steroids. Obviously building muscle mass and everything else. I don't know the science behind it. You can follow fucking More Plates, More Dates, Derek. He'll put this all down. But I guess like the recovery thing, from what I've heard from personal people who have used it, says they feel like they're Wolverine.
Right.
Which is fucking insane.
Right.
I'm curious to know what that feels like. So, for example, my buddy of mine who did it, saw him, he just looked jacked. Literally, he has not been able to get fit like this in a super long time. And I was like, how did you do this in like 4 or 5 months? Well, obviously he did the dieting part. But the second part, he was like, dude, I'm taking TRT. And he was like, taking TRT makes me feel like I'm like 20 years old again.
Yeah.
And like I'll hit a weight training session in the morning. I'll do my CrossFit, and then at night I could do another round.
Wow.
Like, and he goes, my soreness lasts like a day at most, and then I'm back at it again, which is fucking unheard of, dude. Like when I'm sore for 6 years. Like I'm out for it. I could feel it all the time. So like that seems to be like the biggest benefit, especially when it comes to combat sports, because when you're in combat sports, if you could train more, you're going to get better.
Yeah.
Right. Aside from the strength thing, right? So let's say you have to set your training regimen for what your body can take. So let's say you're doing cardio, weight training, and then you're doing some pads and rounds. Well, guess what? If you're on a specific set of like anabolic steroids, whatever the fuck that it is, your cardiovascular is improved, your recovery rates improved, your strength improved, everything's better. Right. Guess what? You'll do another round, 2, 3 more rounds, and then you really do have an edge against other people who aren't doing it.
So I had this friend and roommate. He's straight up fob, right? Mm-hmm. So I guess he just never learned to swim. And then, because one time we went out on a lake, and then he had fallen over the dock or something, and then he literally, I saw this big guy like just struggle, and I've never seen him do that before. And he's 6'2", right? And for some reason,
he stand in the pool, you fucking
right. Giant. No, he panics. He literally freaks the fuck out too, right?
Is he French?
He's a Korean, but yeah, he went on steroids and he got fucking huge. I remember he had this big ass pimple right in the middle of his chest. You know,
you'll see people who use like anabolic steroids. They'll have like bumps in their muscles. I forgot what that's called exactly, but that's actually one of the bigger signs that you're probably using steroids.
Right. I think it's just like cystic acne, like getting on your back, like
it's
all
not
over
acne. It's something else. I forgot. Really? There's an actual thing for it. It's like some type of like muscle abnormality that happens when you do steroids. The other thing is like development of muscles that are very hard to develop, like your delts.
Yeah.
Huge rounded out delts is also another sign that you're probably using anabolic steroids.
Right.
But now too, like it's so openly used. First of all, where do you guys get it? Like, how do you just walk? Who sells this stuff?
You just go to like a gym, like a locker, and then you see a guy and you be like, hey, you know, can I get some steroids?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
May I have some?
Yeah, you look abnormally big. Yeah.
Can I have a piece? Because I've never seen somebody shoot up before personally. I've never seen somebody take. I know people who have taken oral pills, but I heard that's really bad for your liver or your body. So it's actually cleaner and safer to shoot it directly, which is why people do it.
Right.
But the other thing about steroids that people don't understand is like the long-term effects of it. So once you start it and you do like a really good hard cycle, you kind of fuck your body for the rest of your life. Right. Especially if you've been doing it for a long time, apparently. And there's obviously the downside effects too is, there's like the shrinking of the testicles, your sperm count, acne, hair loss. That's actually just like the tip of the iceberg. The other stuff too is high aggression, depression, like weird cases like psychopathy, like you just fucking lose your mind, your fucking anxiety gets crazy.
Yeah.
There's so many other things about steroids that's nuts, because now it explains. So I had a buddy in high school who used to take roids, and he didn't tell us, right? But obviously, like, what, I'm like 17, 16 at the time, and then we're all benching and working out together, and he's getting exponentially stronger than us.
Yeah.
Like ridiculous. And then he has like huge acne pits in his face now. His back has a lot of acne scars. He was gigantic, just buff as fuck.
Yeah.
Well, now that I look back on it, a lot of his like mental issues that he was having was probably because of the steroids.
You say that about that, and I'm like talking about the guy I was talking about. It sounds like, yeah, mental issues due to steroids.
Mood swings are the biggest
Yeah.
thing. So when they call that roid rage, there's also the other side of it too. It's not just pure anger. It's like pure sadness.
Right.
Like depression.
Depression.
So they'll like end up crying out of fucking nowhere. They'll be cutting into their dry chicken that they're fucking, you know. And, and then somebody will be like, "Why are you crying?" And they'll turn around. "What the fuck who's fucking crying?" You know? And it's just this hot mess. And I look back, when I look back at that, I was like, oh, that's what he was going through.
Yeah.
Because before he was taking that stuff, he was a pretty level-headed, goofy guy. He was a skater. He would just, smoke weed and skate all the time. He started getting into working out, fucking suddenly hyper aggressive.
Genius Brain listeners, this podcast is brought to you by Kickoff. Credit is king, my friend, and if you're trying to build your credit, well, you got to do it with Kickoff. Sign up for a monthly plan in minutes and start building your credit immediately for as low as $5. Yes, what I love about them the most is the auto pay feature, because I get to sleep and not worry about missing a payment. They are the #1 credit building app out there for a reason. And like I said, my friends, if you're not building your credit, what are you doing? So join over 1 million people building credit with a Kickoff credit account today. Get your first month for $1. That's 80% off the normal price when you go to getkickoff.com/genius today. That's Kickoff without the C. Get KIKOFF.com/genius. Must sign up via getkickoff.com/genius to activate offer. Offer applies to new Kickoff customers first month only, subject to approval. Average impact of 30-point increase in first month based on Equifax Vantage Score 3.0. Changes for Kickoff premium customers with starting credit below 600 who made their first on-time payment between January 2021 and March 2024. Payment and credit activity outside Kickoff can have an impact on your credit. Terms and conditions may apply. Offer subject to change. Individual results may vary.
Constant mood swings, and he eventually too ended up, well, his wife ended up leaving him because of his like weird personality sets.
Right.
And I really do think it was due because of that steroid, because of the steroids that he was using at the time.
Right.
And he was using it a lot. That fool was fucking jacked. He looked like the Hulk.
Man, I mean, to satisfy what? That's what I wonder. Like, even with the dude, like, so I was saying he couldn't swim. Well, after he started taking steroids, he learned to swim because he wanted to work all those little muscles that he can't access unless he did some swimming exercises.
Does he have like that thing where he can't move?
Yeah, there was a while where he was like, his arms were like always like this. There was a while like, I'm sure he could still like wipe his ass and stuff, but then he was fucking swollen. Like,
what was his end goal? Like, what? I always wondered that too.
Because he's 6'2", he wanted to be 220 in just muscle mass, and then I think he did like a bodybuilding event too.
Oh, he was like competing and stuff?
Yeah, I think he
So he
tried
had a
that.
goal.
Yeah, but then what after that?
I do believe too, like, just it's like a form of like body dysmorphia.
Right.
It has to be, right? Because if definitively, if we're not looking at these people on a physical sense and what they're mentally going through, it's probably the same as people who like overeat.
Right.
Right. And they just get really fat and really out of shape. They can't help it because or the people who are bulimic.
Right.
Like what they see in the mirror is somebody who's really overweight and fat, but we look at them and like, dude, you're skin and bones. Like, you're not living.
I gained 20 pounds, I think, in the past 3 months. Like, because A, quit smoking, B, took a road trip just snacking the whole time, and I think I was over 200 by the time I got back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did a couple fasting stints, so I'm like 193 now, right? That's the biggest I've been in like since before I started this
like
keto
6-7
thing.
years ago.
Yeah,
maybe even longer.
Yeah, so I'm freaking out. I don't like the way I look. I look myself in the mirror and like I grow out this beard to hide my lack of a chin line now. You know,
Just go to Korea, get it cut off.
yeah, maybe I'm growing my
You just
hair.
have a skinny face but a fat body.
I'm growing my hair to cover how round my face is. No, but I mean, I accept all those things about me, honestly. But the body dysmorphia part too, that I have to be aware of what I look like accept me for me, but not be okay with being unhealthy.
It's a hard thing, right? Because for me, so I was in Seattle, and obviously we're doing the food festival stuff too. And after we did it, like I haven't weighed myself in ages, and I weighed myself. I was like 226 pounds. I was like, oh shit, I haven't been 226 in ages, right? And then I was like, oh, I had been feeling really sluggish and tired. And so after Seattle, I went straight to Hawaii. Well, every day in Hawaii, I basically jogged like 4 miles a day.
Right.
Well, number one, Hawaii is just beautiful.
Right.
So jogging there is very easy. And then I just started eating the whole food stuff again. And like the weight goes off. The hard reality for people to understand when it comes to weight loss, when people say, I can't lose weight, is not because you don't understand the methodology, right? The methodology has been the same. Well, that's not true. It has changed over time, right? But now the information is there. In fact, if you go into ChatGPT, you type in your weight, your height, your age, the amount of activity that you want to do, and how many hours you want to work out a day, and then what foods that you want to eat to lose weight, they can write out a whole meal plan for you for 2 weeks straight. That is how plug and play it is. Right. So the information is there. If you want to live a healthier lifestyle, this is what you have to do. So the losing weight is not hard. The act of losing weight is difficult.
It's the mentality.
The mentality.
Do you want to lose weight?
Exactly, right?
And people say, yes, of course. Like, do you want to do the work to lose weight?
The answer is no.
No.
I don't want to do the work because it's fucking tough, right? It's tough, but doing it is easy because all the information is right there. Every time I hear somebody who says they want to lose weight because they see I lost weight and everything else, I give them the same information, but they're trying to find a workaround for it. And like, there is no workaround for it, right? Like, you're just comfortable in the way that you are. This is your life right now. And if you are comfortable, then why change anything? If you're happy, then you're happy. But clearly you're not. This is why you're having this fucking conversation. So when I see people who are extremely obese and they don't complain about it, that's their life. That's their choice, right? Now, we know what that path leads to, but it's not my body. Yeah. You're fine. I just don't like having these conversations of people who say, I've done everything and I can't lose weight. You haven't done everything because you haven't done the basics.
Right. Like, so when I was asked, like, by a bunch of people all the fucking time, you know, oh, how did you lose weight? How did you lose weight? And I tell them exactly what I did, right? What are the most of the, like, the half of them say is like, oh, I can't do that, right? And by about, like, hearing that so many times, at one point I remember this girl asking me the same thing, how I would do that. And she goes, oh, I can't do that. And I said, yeah, you can't do it. I believe you. And she was taken aback, like, what? Right? I was like, what? You said you can't do it. I believe you. You can't do it.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, I can. And I'm like, yeah, do it. Like,
fucking do it then.
Yeah. So if you already speak on behalf of yourself and say, I can't do that shit, then like, okay, fine, you can't do it.
Yeah. And like the thing too is like, it's hard. Like, I think, like, that first day I walked 25,000 steps. You don't think my fucking feet were on fire?
Yeah.
It was on fire. My knees hurt. My ankles hurt. I have something called a heel bump, which is something that's permanent that'll never go away.
God.
So this is something that happens to people who are athletes. I am not an athlete, so I don't know how the fuck I got this. But I'm pretty sure it happened during, like, pandemic when I was walking, like, literally 10 miles a day.
Right.
And so it's a tendon that gets pulled and it causes this bump, and there's no way to get rid of it. It hurts every fucking morning. It feels, it's like excruciating. But once I walk and I walk through the pain, the tendon stretches out and then I feel no pain anymore.
Right.
But I have to go through that every time I jog or walk, and I walk every day.
Damn.
Right? So that just is what it is. I've accepted that part. So
what do you think? Steroids on your heel or stem cells?
There's nothing that can fix it. It just is what it is. So it's not going to prevent my quality of life as long as I warm up and I'm fine.
Right.
But it does hurt in the morning. I'm limping every fucking morning. But I have to go through this, like, mental gymnastics to try to get me to not do these things, right? So, for example, since I got back from Hawaii, I obviously don't have the ocean. I don't have this beautiful weather to walk through this beautiful air, all this other stuff, fat asses, booty cheeks, titties everywhere. That's motivating me to run, which is so funny because even though I know I'm not going to do anything at all, but knowing that there are like hot women watching, I run a little more. I don't stop.
Oh yeah.
I keep running. If I'm by myself, like I was at this like sweet little park with a bunch of old people and children, I took hella stops, dog.
Yeah.
I fucking chilled. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. But coming back here, I had to keep up that routine.
Right.
So I'm jogging like 1.5 to 2 miles a day. Obviously not the 5, just because I'm a little more busy here. But doing that every day is hard. And guess what? Every day when I wake up, I say, you don't need to do this. Because you need rest days. When are you going to rest? Right? Oh, you could eat this. You could have this. But the moment I do that, it just spirals down.
Yeah.
The next day I don't run. The next day I'm not drinking water. The next day I'm not doing anything else. So this like these habits, these bad habits are so ingrained in us, it just never goes away.
Right.
It's always there. It's like this little fucking fat fucking demon whispering in my ear. You could be fat.
Yeah.
Why don't you just sleep a little longer? Why even work out? You're going to be so busy today. You shouldn't even, don't fucking worry, dude.
I listen to that guy so much.
Sometimes he doesn't even have to say that. He just goes, good morning. And you're right.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm good.
Just you wait. It's hot today, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to say anything else.
Yeah.
And I got to fight that person every fucking day. Even before I came here, I fucking ran 2 miles. That shit was hard as fuck. Was it a good 2 miles? No. I walked way more than I did the other day. I didn't time it, but I still got it done.
Right.
So it's like, okay. And I don't want people to get obsessed with the number when it comes to losing weight. There are people who are morbidly obese. You should look at the number.
Yeah.
Right? For me, blood work wise, I'm perfectly fine. But there is things that I do feel when I'm overweight. And that's like usually my marker. Because I didn't check my weight on the scale. I just felt sluggish. My poopies were feeling weird. My skin was bad. And I'm like, I'm probably really unhealthy right now. I checked the scale. Ridiculous. Like when I got married last year, I was about 207 pounds. I was 226. So I gained basically 20 pounds. And I didn't know that. Right? Because obviously I wear oversized tees and shorts and they all expand. So it's perfectly fine. But yeah, since then, just eating whole foods, trying to focus on my sleep, and just keeping up the cardiovascular activity and the slight weight training, I'm 218 today. So that was 8 pounds in 2 weeks.
Right.
Which is way faster than I thought it was going to be, right? Because usually it's about, I would lose about 1 pound a week. I don't know, maybe it's just the cardio, because I never ran before. So running the 5 miles, including the weight training, is causing me to lose more weight.
Right.
But it's all doable. It's just very hard. So like when people have these conversations with me and they go, well, you like it now. No, I don't. Who the fuck says I like this shit?
Yeah.
I like how I feel after though. Not physically. I'm talking about mentally. I feel better. I have more clarity. I could sleep better. I'm a lot more relaxed. And it's just kind of like foregoing how you feel right now for something that's better. It's just something that people can't do. It's just so hard.
Right.
And I think like if you're listening out there and you can get to that point where you kind of take your own personal bullshit aside and then cast it away, you will start understanding why people do this stuff. Like I talked to Bart. Bart works out all the time. He's sore.
Right.
I ask him why he does this because he has a goal in life. You know what I mean? Dude, this past month, like 2 people I know passed away because of health issues. And this is like stuff that you can't figure out. This guy was 44 years old. He sold a whole empire, this whole food empire, had all this fucking money, did all this great stuff, right? Still died at 44. Don't know why exactly, but your time is very limited on this earth. And and I feel this too, where somebody else that I know, Gio's brother, she posted on her Instagram, he passed away, right? Super fucking young. But you don't know why these things happen, but there are things that you can do to prevent it. And I'm like, I just don't want to be that old person that just like is in pain every day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the quality of life that you have is it's directly correlated to your health. And I've seen it so many times over. My mom has been getting healthier, dude. And even I was talking to her on the phone. I was like, how do you feel? She goes, I feel so young. I feel so good because she's been exercising in the morning and at night. She's been taking like medicine, like all of her vitamins and everything that she needs to take. I saw her. She looks fucking 15 years younger.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like these things do matter. And I think I hate the conversation when people are like, who cares? That's like this generation's favorite phrase. Why do you care? Because I fucking care. That's why.
Right.
Like, I hate that. It's just such a lazy thing to say. It's like, because you have no reason to give a fuck about something doesn't mean that I don't have a reason to give a fuck about something.
You know, when people ask, why do you care? They don't actually want to know why you
They don't.
care. They just want,
100%.
They're just like side-handedly saying whatever you care about is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So if they say, why do you care? And you actually start explaining, they actually don't want to hear it.
Yeah, you're a bigot.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I just explained to you why I fucking care. It's like, you know why I care? Because I live on this earth, right? Because I'm a part of this society and I want to help mold and shape the society that I want to see in the fucking future. Nah, sounds gay to me. It's like, dude, what the fuck is the whole point of this? It's like, nobody wants to have a conversation. Right? So it's like, when I see, like, for example, if we go back to the Olympics thing, it's just like, what was the point of this? And they go, why do you care? It's like, because it was publicized out in the public.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see who did a terrible job on this. Like I said, religion aside, it was just a really shitty performance.
Yeah.
It was ugly. There was a ball sack out next to a child's face.
Yeah.
Honestly, the best part of the Olympics. Like, come on.
I don't know if I'm this correct, but apparently he's something like a Psy of France. You know, like Gangnam Style Psy. Oh. So he's the French version of that, and that's what he does. So French people know, but it's like, you know, but none of us, the rest of us, could digest this. Yeah.
It was just such a weird thing to see. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that wraps up this episode of the Genius Brain podcast. You could catch Genius Brain every Sundays at 12 p.m. You could catch Ed at Ed Park VP at Bible Study at Momo. Whenever that next episode's coming out.
Long story short, I didn't do it.
All right. At the end.
Yeah.
Genius Brain every Sundays at 12 p.m. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.